Hey guys, what's up? This is Red Squadron, and we are back today with a World of Tanks video. And I haven't done one of these in a while, but today I'll be showing you a overview of the JagdPanther with some Ace Tanker gameplay with it. Anyway, I'm not going to do what I usually do on War Thunder, like give you a backstory, because I think that's more suited towards War Thunder, where it's a lot more realistic than World of Tanks. Anyway, first I'll just be giving you an overview, and then we'll be going over to tanks.gg to like give you arm value and compare it to other tanks of the tier. Anyway, with the guns on the JagdPanther, you can have a choice of two really. There's the 105 that I use and the 88 cm Pack 43. Oh no. yeah, there's 105 and yeah. I'm not being stupid. The 105 has the less penetration with its standard AP rounds compared to 203 with the 88. And the compared with the Christ, I can't speak. The APCR, the JagdPanther has 7 more penetration than the APCR on the 88. Now, obviously, the 105 has a high alpha damage with 320 compared to the 88's 240. And then we have 0.34 dispersion on the 105 compared to 32 on the 88. And then the absolutely insane aiming time on the 105, 1.7 compared to the measly 2.3 on the 88. Now, the difference between these aim times, you really feel it when you want to go from the 88 to the 105, because you just realise how insanely powerful the aiming time is, and you just like start to really enjoy it because of that. Then we'll go. Well, obviously it has no turret. And then we'll go to the engines. You have 2, but I've not researched the second one yet. It's only 50 more horsepower. I don't think I'm actually going to get it because I really want to get the JagdPanther 2. Then you have the 2 different suspensions, that's it. And then you have 3 different radios. And you have 850 hit points. And you can have a load limit of 49 tons. And it weighs 46.14 when fully equipped. Engine power 650 or 700 with the best engine. Top speed of 55 km/h. Traverse speed of 32 degrees a second. 80mm of hull armor there. I don't know the low glaciers just yet. 240 to 400 standard cell damage on the 105. And it is 150 to 250 on the penetration with 105. 7.32 rounds a minute with a 105mm gun, 26 degrees a second gun traverse, and 350 view range base and 354 I have, 710 base signal range and 723 that I have. Now I have a gun rammer, vents, and enhanced gun lane drive. You can easily use binoculars and camouflage net, you know, if you're doing those missions where you have to stay covered or something that I'm going through for the T55A, and I found it quite annoying. But I think these 3 are quite nice. Anyway, we'll be quickly going on to tanks.gg to show you around that. See you then. So here we are on tanks.gg, and we have the JagdPanther with 105, the T25AT, the Sterling Meal, the JagdPanther with 88mm, the SU-152, and the AT7. Now have the JagdPanther with the 105 has about 2,441 DPM base, and that just slots slightly in the middle with the rest of them, with the T2580 having 2,200, Stereo Mill having 2,200 as well, and then the 88 has just a slight increase over the 105 by 20.02 to be precise. SU-152 obviously with its monstrous DPM with the 122mm that tank gets. That's obviously like the main part about the SU-152. And then you have the 87 with its 20-pounder. Now it has 200mm penetration, which is slightly lacking compared to other ones. And then the T25AT, it's slightly in the middle. The Stereo Mill and the 87 obviously outshining. And then the JagdPanther with the 88 having the extra 3mm penetration. Now, when it comes to alpha damage, the JagdPanther with the 105 is sitting in the middle, with the Stereo Mill obviously being the best, and when you equip it with the 88, it goes down to the 240, so if you really need to secure a kill, it's better to have 105. Module damage, obviously, it's the same mostly, apart from the 88, which has the lowest. Rate of fire the rate of fire is 7.63 rounds per minute with the 105, and 10.26 with the 88, and then the 87 has 10.9. So the rounds per minute on the JagdPanther is quite low, but it still has a high alpha damage, so it gives it quite a nice DPM. Obviously, 105 mil. Shell velocity is 950, which is in the middle again, not too fast, not too slow. Ammo capacity is 40, which is quite a lot, since you never usually have to fire 40 rounds. And that's about 12. Yeah, about 12,000 damage you can do with all those rounds. So, it's enough to kill like quite a nice team about 2 times over. Aim time obviously is insane, exactly the same as the T25AT, and completely outshines any other of the Tier 7 TDs. The accuracy is in the middle, not too good, not too bad, as is most with this 105. With the JagdPanther, it has the with the 88, it has 0.31, which is the second best, just slightly better, just slightly worse than the 87. Dispersion while moving is the best on the both the Jagdtyres with 0.20, while tank traverse is the is again the best, and while you're turning, the limited amount of turret traverse is the best on par with the SU-152, and the dispersion after firing is also the best on both of them, with the as well as the 152. Now, after its damage is the same across the board. The elevation with the JagdPanther is 14, which is quite low, but way better than the 87.7, and the 10 on the steering wheel, but not as good as the T25AT or the SU-152. Now, depression is 8, which is okay. It's not as good as the 10 on the T25AT or the 15 on the steering wheel, which is insane. And gun traverse is 11 degrees either side, and it's 55 kilometers an hour forwards. Sorry about that. And this is okay in the middle, just slightly worse than T25AT. First speed is 12, so it is quite annoying if you're stuck in a position you have to reverse quickly, but it's pretty good in general. The terrain resistances are okay. They're in the middle again, not as bad. They're the same as most, apart from the steering wheel, which has really good terrain resistances. And then on medium, it's okay again in the middle, and on soft, it's quite a lot worse than a lot of the other things. The turret traverse is 27 degrees a second. The tank traverse is 32, which is across the middle, in the middle across the board. Now you have 80 millimeters frontal armor on the JagdPanther, which is angled very well, so it's quite a lot more effective than 80. 88 on the T25AT, so it's quite good, but obviously the 87 has 203 because British tank destroyers. The health is 850, which is okay, and obviously the 87 has its massive slubber health. Amarak health is the same as most other things. View range 350, as I said. Meet up to tier 9, 20% fire chance. Cost 1.345 million. A shell cost is bloody expensive with the 105, and very cheap with the 88, only being 252. That's low capacity is 49,000 kilos. Sorry. And yeah, that's that. Anyway, we'll be going on to here, where it gives you the basic overview with 2,441 DPM. And this gun constraints has 11 degrees either side. I'll go into its 3D model. So obviously here you can see the frontal angle of the JagdPanther's upper glacis, with it being 122 to about 140. That is the AT being angled at 51 degrees. At 55 degrees, sorry, that's after normalization. And then the low glacis, which is a measly 50, hardly angled whatsoever. And now, if you use the extent of the gun arc, I say, you can get about, just squeeze out about 130 around there. And then you have its side armor of 52, and with the track 65.
And at the rear it is 43, so quite high caliber. HE shells can go through there. If you're slightly above it, you can maybe even get a shot through there since it's only 25mm. Then on the front mantler area it's 187 to about 200, with 135 normally, and on the mantler it's about, if you hit right next to the gun it's 90 to 100, but if you hit the mantler it's about 300 to 400, which isn't a very nice place to hit. Anyway, we'll be going on back onto World of Tanks, and I'll be showing you some gameplay. Okay, so here we are in the replay. We are on Fisherman's Bay. There's a 53% chance to win, so it's quite evenly matched altogether. So we have some pretty nice players on our team. We have a really strong VK3601H and a very strong IS-2. I actually happen to be the best player in this match, which is quite odd. As you see, I was doing TD12 big game hunting for the T55A, and actually managed to achieve it in this game. So that's an indication of how much damage I end up doing. Anyway, you see this KV-85, you know, being a KV-85. And sorry about what this SU-8 says about him. Yeah. Anyway, we're just advancing into the town. I never thought I'd actually do this before, you know. This is one of the first time I've actually gone to the town in a tank straight. Yeah, sorry about what the SU-8 just said there. I do not share his views in any way, shape or form. Anyway, I'm advancing on the town, and then I see this IS-2, and here's what I do, a bit of a stupid. I just start rubbing against a wall for about good 10 seconds. I try and think he's going to come around the corner. Bit of a miss, but I really should have been going around the left hand side now, because this is where he really was starting to get like really like otherwise engaged. So, and now as you can see, he's just around that side there, and I think you go around now, and then I plant a shot there, track him, and then what I do here is I actually use these pillars from the house to use his inaccuracy against him, so he's more than likely to hit the pillars rather than me. Now, as you can see, on that last shot I did try and place it in his tracks, but sadly it missed and didn't take him out, but I did do damage. And then I found the side of his turret and take him out. Quite a nice high roll there, 343. And then I almost take a hit from the Tiger P over there. Statistically an okay player. And then I start doing the same things as Tiger P that I did to IS-2, place a shot in his inside drive wheel, and then use the what do you call these, pillars for cover, I guess, and then try and use it, but then I go out, get a very low roll, but then I realise my rate of fire is probably slightly better than his, and then he gets taken out anyway. So I keep advancing, picked up 1,612 damage in 2.5 minutes, so you can get a feel of how strong the rate of fire on this gun is. And then I swing around, and then look at this aim time. Look, bang, already fully aimed in. Put a shot in, move a bit, just to make sure I'm not spotted. Carry on anyway. I place another shot into his up glacis. You don't really need to worry about the amount of penetration you have of this tank, since the 200mm is more than enough to go through most of the things you're going to be fighting in this tier anyway. And then just put another shot into him. Already picked up 2,551 damage. 1,000 in like another half a minute. Then I'm carrying on up here. And I'm just going to see if I can find anyone. Now, here's where I got a bit surprised. I was just going along, just seeing if I can find anyone down here. And then I swing to my right. And I tunnel vision a bit here. I see that tiger. And I'm thinking, oh look, a tiger. So I'm driving along, and then I see this. An OI. And I just, you know, because of the very strong penetration of this tank, I can happily place shots in the side of his turret without really worrying about bouncing. Put a second shot in. Very low roll, 269. And then I put another shot in the side of his turret. And I think, oh yeah, cool. 3,477 damage done. I should be able to do my mission easily. And bounce. I shoot the back of his turret there. Quite well angled. And then I try and go lower down. And I hit him and take him out. Look, thus securing my mission. But I carry on. and I see a ARL V39 over the hill, and he pops out. No, I'm here. I almost fluff the shot, but get a very high roll of 366, and I carry on towards there. And I try to get him, but I can't see him, and an SUA secures the kill for me. 3,887 damage in only 5 minutes. So you can really get a feel of like the tank's performance, and obviously the Tiger P went easily through the lower part of my upper glacis. Now I try and secure a bit more damage, but it doesn't go very well since it's not the fastest as tanks. Well, it's faster than 87, but sometimes you wish it was just a slight bit more manoeuvrable just to get around faster. But it was fine. We still got a good 3.8k damage, and at this point I just give up and I'm waiting for the FV304 to succumb to his fate. And we just here, and the FV304 gets killed. Now, as you can see, the performance of the JagdPanther is extremely strong, especially this 105mm gun. The higher alpha damage I prefer because it just gives you that slight edge, and you can just actually outtrade most of the things you fight your own tier, which is a thing you can't really say about most of the medium tanks of this tier, apart from like the Sturmil and the SU-152, who have the massive alpha damages. Because stuff like the 87 only has 230 alpha damage. Anyway, now I'll be showing you the after game stats. I'll see you there. So here we are on the after battle results, and obviously you see I got the high caliber for that game for my 3.9 damage, 3.9k damage. I got the Master Badge H tanker and the Master Gunner. Now the team scores, I got 1,150 experience for my 3.9k damage and my 2 kills. I got 15 shots, 15 direct hits, so that shows the accuracy, and 13 penetrations, that unlucky one on the back of the OI's turret. Received 256, didn't block any damage. I decked 2, that's not very much. Got 39k. Base experience of 1,725, doubled for my first win day, equaling 3,450 XP. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll hopefully be doing more if I get good games in any of these tanks. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you next time. Bye!